Hello, Foothill. It's good to be with you again. Today, I want to share with you a story from the DuBransky house and connect it with something that God has been teaching me this week. So just a few weeks ago, Selah was outside. She's our youngest daughter, and she was playing by herself. I'm sure she was doing gymnastics or something like that. And out of nowhere, she just screamed and started crying. And it turns out what happened is she did a cartwheel and landed on a bee, and the bee stung her foot. Now, this was her first bee stinging. It was actually the first bee stinging of any of our children. And she came into the house. She was crying. She was scared. She was upset. And when she saw her mom, who met her first, and then I came a few seconds after that to see what was going on, she needed really to know two things. The first thing was, is there anything that mom and dad can do to help me? Can they get this stinger out of my foot? Can they relieve some of this pain? Can they do anything to help the situation that I'm in? And the answer is yes, because of Katie. Katie was able to remove the stinger. She was able to concoct some kind of elixir to put on her foot to relieve some of the pain. She combined that with an ice pack, and Selah began to feel better. But the second thing that Selah needed to know was, does her mom and dad care? Do we have compassion? Are we concerned about this situation that just happened in her life? And so the answer to that is also yes. We were able to hold her, we were able to sit with her, to comfort her, to tell her, we're so sorry that this happened, we know that it hurts, and we're here to be with her. And the thing that God has reminded me this week is that He is the exact same way. Well, except He's perfect, and He's God, and He's holy, and He does everything to a way better degree that we can. But what I want to encourage you with is that God also has the ability to help us in our situation and meets us with compassion. See, in seasons like this that are difficult, that are stressful, that are unknown, where anxiety comes into our lives, we often want to tell ourselves, or we often want to tell other people, don't worry, God is in control. It's okay, God is sovereign. He has this in His hands, right? And that's true. God has the power and the ability to help any situation that we find ourselves in. But the thing that we often leave out is that God also enters into that space with compassion, with care and concern. Well, that's what 1 Peter 5, 6 through 7 tells us. He brings out both of these qualities of God, where it says, humble yourselves, therefore, under the mighty hand of God. So see, remind ourselves, God is in control, not us. He has a mighty hand. And at the proper time, He will exalt you. He's going to do something in the lives of His children. But then it also says to cast all our anxieties on Him because He cares for us. So not only does God have a mighty hand to meet us and act on our behalf, but He also comes with care, concern, and compassion. And so today, what I want you to know and what I want you to be comforted with is that not only does God have the ability and the capacity and the power to help, He also sees you. Do you guys know that there's a story in Genesis 16 about Hagar where God meets her in this really difficult season? And after Him calling her by name, meeting her along the stream, Hagar concludes, God is the one who sees me. He is the one that looks after me. And that's what I want you to feel this week. What I want to remind you of, what I want you to hold on to is that God not only has the sovereign power and control over our lives, He also enters into it with great care and compassion and concern. So be comforted today, because not only can God help you and meet you, He also wants to. He also wants to incline His ear towards you. He wants to hear our prayers. He wants to lean in. He wants us to call Him Abba, Father, Daddy, and say, come to me. I can hold you in this season. So let God hold you, because He's a God of great compassion and care and love. I love you, and can't wait to see you again soon.